Relative positioning is the idea of taking an element and moving it from one place where it naturally sits on your page to another place just slightly off. So it takes your position where you're sitting or standing right now, and it's like moving you 1 inch to the left or 1 inch to the right. So I have a new document here for relative positioning. And what we want to do is create a box and then just sort of move it a little bit. So let's go ahead and grab that box class. Let's give it a width, 300 pixels, height, 300 pixels, border, 10 pixels, solid black. And when I open this up in the browser, it's just a regular box. We've seen this a few times already throughout this course. So what I want to do here now is I can say position, and there's a bunch of them in here, but let's go position relative, and it looks like nothing has changed. And that's actually right, nothing should have changed. But now we can use top, left, right, or bottom selectors, or not selectors, but properties. So we could say, move this from the top, move it downwards. Let's move this down 10 pixels. Okay, so that wasn't very much. Let's move this down 30 pixels. And let's move this to the left, or from the left, 30 pixels as well. And when we toggle these on and off, we can actually see that this is in fact moving. It's moving the entire element for us. And so again, what relative positioning does is it says, okay, so this is where your element sits by default on your page, but let's change that position to relative. So relative to where it usually sits, from the top, move it down 30 pixels. From the left, move it to the right 30 pixels. So let's say instead of top, we can say bottom. And you can see that I actually moved it out of my viewport, the viewport being this big white section here. And we can toggle that on and off as well. And instead of left, we can say right. And this does the exact opposite. And let's toggle these on and off as well. And so that's relative positioning. Now, where this comes in really, really handy is when you have to move something just slightly off of where it naturally sits. Maybe you're already using your padding, you're already using your margin, you're using negative padding or negative margin, and you need to sort of move this away just a little bit, just to make it perfect. This is where relative positioning really comes into play. Now, relative positioning has another sort of superpower, and that's when it comes to child elements that use position absolute, which we're going to talk about next.